Welcome back to Upfront. I'm Rachel O'Sullivan. Well, for those of you watching on YouTube, it's pretty obvious where I am, but for those of you listening, I am sitting in front of the Sydney Opera House, down under in Australia, here for Chelsea's pre-season. They started with a game against Auckland in New Zealand before coming over here to take on the A-League All-Stars. So I sat down with a couple of players to find out how it's all been going, as well as looking ahead to this season. After a pretty tricky year last season, Chelsea have made plenty of changes. We've seen lots of stars leave. We've also seen lots of stars come in, both young and established. So I want to find out how they're getting on in the squad. Welcome to the pod, Aggie. Thank you for sitting down and chatting to us. Firstly, we are in Australia. How's it been? What's it like doing pre-season halfway around the world?
Yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely falling in love with the place. I absolutely love it. This morning we went to Bondi as a team, which was really cute. Ellie's been a great tour guide. She, organised the coach. We got there. Some of the girls went in the sea, which was lovely.
Oh, wow.
And then it's just been 10-10. I think coming from New Zealand as well was really cool to kind of see the New Zealand lifestyle and then come here. And then on top of that, the training's been really good and we're really excited for the game.
That's a lot of pressure on Ellie, isn't it?
She's done really well though, to be fair.
Your contract extension was announced a month ago. It feels obvious to ask how excited you are about the season, but it wasn't that long ago that you were, the youngster coming in and breaking through, and now you're kind of still young, but you're kind of one of the older heads that have been here for a while.
Yeah, it's weird. I think you said it perfectly. To me, I still feel like I'm that 18-year-old kind of kid who came in from the academy, but obviously just turned 23, and I was like, especially with our new younger signings, it's like, oh god, I'm getting a little bit older now. But no, I was super excited to obviously sign and for all the content to come out, and yeah, it'd been a long time coming, and I think coming off the back of last season where I struggled a little bit of injuries and finding the consistency again, it was really nice to kind of have that as like you got through it, well done, get on to the next season. And I think so far we've done really well in terms of getting to know one another, being on the pitch, and then even the game the other day I thought was really good quality, and I think the challenge tomorrow will be a really good game.
Just going back to you, I was going to ask about that, having that kind of season where it's been hampered with injuries and you're in and out, it must be really frustrating. Does having a new season just feel like a bit of a fresh start where you can kind of go at it now? Yeah,
definitely. I think as well it was my first probably injury that in my career so far, which had probably sidelined me a bit more than I initially thought, and I think trying to come back and be like, I want to play, and looking back now probably being like I should have just taken more time for my body to kind of be in a better place. But it's so hard, especially when we're not having a good team as good season as Chelsea, and me wanting to be like, I want to come in and try and help that. But I just think we have to park last season and move forward, and I think it can only get better for us in terms of what we want to achieve and how we come back from setbacks, and me personally just staying fit and healthy, and hopefully we'll do that next season.
I guess it could be quite expected, a new manager comes in after such a long time of, everyone used the word dynasty around Emma Hayes, she's been there so long, and for Sonia's first season to be couldn't have gone better pretty much. It's almost understandable to have that kind of maybe stumbling block a little bit as you've a new manager of her style, things are coming into place, players leave, players come, so maybe this season feels a little bit more like you can really go for it now. You have a bit of better understanding as a team.
Yeah, definitely. I think, the first season, obviously Sonia came in and everyone was so keen to impress, and obviously we won the treble, which was incredible. And like you said, I feel like when you're at the top, you have to stay there, and that's the hardest part. And obviously last season wasn't up to our standard, but almost what you said, I feel like it was going to happen at some point, and it was just how we bounced back, and I think we struggled in doing that. But I think this year, hopefully it's something that we can build on, and we had to get to a low point to then hopefully learn and grow. But yeah, I really have every belief and faith in the team that we have this year, and hopefully we can build on that. I think the signings we've made, KT's come in, really given that experience. Same with Melvine, she's come in and is a ball of chaos in such a good way. She's brought such a good spirit to the team, and I think they'll be excellent signings for us. But yeah, it's definitely an exciting season, and who knows what will happen. But I mean, hopefully we can make our mark.
I think as well, fans often look at their team in isolation. They don't look at the fact that other teams are also investing, getting better, making your job to stay at the top harder and harder each season. Do you feel that?
Yeah, but I think that's just the competitiveness of the league and the nature of where the whole women's football's going. I think the WSL is such a global, it's one of the best leagues in my opinion, and across the whole board, I think the expenditure of the league as well with more teams, I think showing the growth. I think London City being a prime example of doing something a little bit more niche but investing in a completely different way. And I think to me, if I take myself away from it and I look from a neutral, it's super exciting. I think you would almost guarantee the top four. Now you're looking at other teams, even London City, the Tottenhams, Liverpool's, the teams that are questioning and being able to beat the top four. And I think for me, it makes it way more exciting. I think no game's an easy game. And I think we can all sit here now and go, we want to win the league, but it's whoever claims it, you know? And I think it will be a super exciting season all round for pretty much every team.
I mean, for us covering it, we're super excited with all the names coming in and all the squads strengthening. For you as a player, you must be excited about the challenge of coming up against some new faces.
Yeah, definitely. I think even the Alexia move to London City, I think is crazy in terms of how much London City can attract those type of players. And I think to have some of that calibre come into the league and be able to make her mark, I think is going to be super exciting. I mean, we're going to have to try and nullify her and what she can do, but I think it's exciting, and I hope other teams look at us and go, oh, they've got a great team, and it's going to be a tough battle too.
I think as well, you know, there's been some big names obviously left, some new, fresh faces have come in, youngsters and established players. How important are trips like this for that cohesion before the season to, you know, take you away from your comfort zone and maybe bond you guys a little better? Yeah,
I think it's so important. I think the first summer without a tournament for a while for a lot of girls, and being able to have that reset away from football and then coming back into Chelsea and then flying across the other side of the world is a pretty cool way to kind of kickstart our campaign. And like I said, bringing in the new players and equally having our core group, being able to expand that, I think so important. I think getting to know each other off the pitch is just as important as knowing each other on the pitch, and trips like this really allow each individual to kind of express themselves and equally build those friendships that you don't always get while you're in the busy schedule of one game one week, 2 games the next week, and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's so important, and I've loved pretty much every minute of it so far.
I think as well, you know, after a tough season, I know it's cliche, but I imagine you do learn a lot from those difficult times when games don't go your way or you're knocked out of a competition, you know, particularly after the highs you've had. You do learn a lot from that, especially going into a new season. You know what the hurt feels like, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah, I think personally I've learned a lot, but then even collectively as a team, we've had a lot of tough conversations where we had to be super honest, sit down in the meeting room and go, what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. And I think it just came back to when we were in a bad place, how do we then get out of that? And I think we struggled with that. And I don't think we shy away from that. And I like to hope we've done our work individually and collectively as a team to then if that was to happen again, how do we bounce back a little bit quicker? I think for me personally, it was one of the tougher seasons from an injury perspective, but as well as looking and going, this isn't like the Chelsea that we all know. But I think, like you said, it had to kind of happen almost for us to then bounce back and get to the places we want to get to. So yeah, although it happened, like myself personally, we've parked it as a club, we've parked it, and we're going to move forward and hopefully claim back our trophies.
Have you found that having those injuries have maybe given you a little bit of a different perspective, or, you know, make you look forward to a new season even more?
Yeah, most definitely. I think it's the one thing for me, football's the outlet of whatever's going on in your day-to-day life, and when that's taken away from you, it can be quite tough. I wouldn't have been able to do it with a lot of my people around me, the physios at Chelsea being one. I annoy the physio to his extreme, but it's all because I just want to get back. But family and friends too, and I think you are able to then kind of look at life in a different way, when you have other things to kind of invest your time into, and just better yourself really.
You know, all being well with yourself and with England, you know, you could potentially be looking at quite a long season now, should the World Cup happen for England. But, you know, you've had a very important summer off. I imagine a lot of players who maybe enjoyed having that summer off. It's felt quite relentless over the last few seasons. So how do you kind of set yourself up for not looking too far ahead, but also knowing that could be on the horizon?
Yeah, I think it is taking each game as it comes. I think in football it's such a it's an industry where anything can happen at any point. And I think I learned that through injury, like never take anything for granted, even just being back on the pitch, even if things aren't necessarily going the way you want it to. But like you said, yeah, it's going to potentially be quite a long season. And the main thing for me is just staying fit and available as much as I can and listening to my body. And I think when I'm at my best, I'm fit and I'm healthy. I'm not thinking too much. I'm just letting my natural, like, my feet do the talking, really. But yeah, I think it's a long season, but ultimately it's the kind of season that I'm looking at going, it's going to be a fun one. Like, this is why you want to play football. You want to be in as many competitions, win as much domestically, let alone at a national level too.
Have you gotten good at kind of, when you have a week off, knowing how to use it well? Because in football, you don't get a lot of time off.
Yes and no. I think now that I'm a little bit older, I think the girls will give me stick just because when we're in places like this, I want to go explore, I want to go see the cities we're in and what memories I can make. So I think it's just being able to do that and then finding a fine line. I think when me and Maya go on camp, everyone's like, how many steps have you two done? Because we're like doing 20,000 steps just because we love exploring. But I think it's just having that balance. I love going out, exploring. It calms my mind away from the football and then being able to come on the pitch and hopefully do what I can do. But it's definitely finding that balance between the two.
And lastly, how much do you enjoy how you finished the season at World Sevens? You absolutely tore it up.
Yeah, I think every time someone asks me about it, I think it was just a reflection of me trying to come back when body wasn't ready, and that I think that showed on the pitch. And then it kind of got to sevens, and as annoying the timing was, I was like, this is when I finally kind of feel fit again, and that's me at my best. If I'm honest, I was quite reluctant to it at the start, just because I was like, this is completely new, something that it looked a bit like it was just a joke to me, like obviously the walkout, something that I'm so happy is not in the WSL. But no, it was such a great experience. I've always said, when I look back on it, it was a very happy time in my life of just being able to play football again and be happy, look around at serious people like Keira and see her having the time of her life too. So it was such a great time and a nice way for me to kind of end the season. And I look back on it and now was a high of like, I had a bit of a rough time, but I got there in the end. So it was kind of a nice way to finish off the season.
And format-wise, seemed to suit you quite well.
I think it's when people ask me to describe myself, I've always said I'm quite a technical player, and I think being in the small spaces I love, because it's kind of me and my element. And I remember me and LJ were talking in the week, she was like, I think you're going to enjoy this, I think you'll be quite good at it. And then I think it was just not thinking too much. There was no pressure, which again I think was really nice, just to kind of play football like when you're a kid and you don't really think anyone's watching, you're just doing stuff for the sake of it. So it was really nice to kind of remember what football's about and kind of go back to those childhood memories of you just play football because you love it. But it was a great time.
And hopefully you can start this season as you finish next season.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Enjoy it. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, welcome to the pod.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sitting down with us here in Sydney. How's it been?
Yeah, good so far. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
If I throw back to maybe your first ever pre-season, am I right in thinking maybe Blackburn 2014, maybe around that time?
Yeah, it was probably Man City. It was my first pre-season.
What was your pre-season like then? A bit different?
Yeah, just a lot of running. I think that was probably most of the pre-season 10 years ago.
How important are these trips? I guess particularly Chelsea, difficult season last season. You've had some big names leave. You've got big names coming in, youngsters coming in. How valuable is it to kind of be taken out of your comfort zone and I guess bond a bit?
Yeah, I think it's nice. Obviously every day at Cobham, I think to change environment. I think it also makes it easier to have those conversations and bond a little bit more with each other all day for 2 weeks. And you can go for coffee shops, you can go, went to Bondi Beach this morning, most of us. So I think it's just obviously doing those little things, and then I think those conversations are a little bit more authentic as well. But I think even just being able to connect with our fans over here is really important as well. I think obviously they can't watch us very often, I think, with the time difference, and we obviously don't play here, so I think it's a great opportunity for those young girls to watch us play.
Pre-seasons have definitely changed over the years. We're seeing teams going a lot further afield. I guess it's more than football then as well, isn't it? It's as the game grows, those commercial opportunities grow, and as you say, your fan bases grow. So it must be really different for you across your career, how much it's changed.
Yeah, I think my first wee season, I think we went to France for a week or so, and I think the facilities probably weren't what we've had over here. But yeah, I think just being able to travel the world with football, and it's a little bit different when you're with your club than with national team. I think you get a little bit more chance to relax and switch off and go and explore, because obviously, you know, we're not playing a massive tournament, so we can chill out a little bit more than usual. But no, I think it's just a very, very lucky job to have, and there are definitely things that I've done that I wouldn't have done if I didn't do this. Like, I wouldn't come to Australia twice probably, so yeah, I'm really lucky.
So you've had a bit of a summer off, hopefully, a bit of time off.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty relentless the last few years. So how nice was that?
Yeah, really nice. I think it's probably the longest I've had off in 6 or 7 years. So I think to just completely switch off mentally, I think, like, physically everyone always talks about, you know, being ready for the season, but I think mentally is probably the biggest thing for most players these days, like the pressure we're under and how many games we play. I think, yeah, to just go on holiday and not have to think about it for more than a week, 2 weeks is, it was really nice. And I think it makes you feel fresh, ready for the season. And yeah, I'm ready to go now.
You know, obviously the season, last season, wasn't maybe what many are used to seeing from Chelsea, which is understandable. And I guess with Sonia having such an incredible first season, I guess you've had the highs and the lows with Sonia, and I guess you probably learned a lot from both of those experiences, I guess. So how much are you relishing this season now? Does it feel like you've kind of maybe gone through stuff as a team that will help you going into the next season? Yeah,
I think also, like, I'm a person who doesn't get too high and low. I think it's part of football, right? You can't win all the time, and I think as you get a little bit older, you get not a little bit more used to that, but I think it's obviously something that is part of the job. And I think the bigger picture for women's football, like, it is more exciting that one team doesn't win all the time. Obviously, I would love to be on that team, but I think if you're talking about the WSL being competitive, I think it is important for the game in England that there is teams in and around always competing. This year, obviously, I would like to be back at the top and want to win trophies, but I think we've got a lot of new signings and it's exciting, and I think the team's in a good place. I think on the pitch and off the pitch, culture-wise, I think it's been a really good pre-season so far, and I think Sonia's massive on that. So yeah, just looking forward to starting the season and seeing how it goes. It's obviously a long year again with another World Cup, so yeah, just excited.
And obviously you're touching it there, some new signings, some youngsters coming in, Nelly Lass, Julia, and also some big names like Katie McCabe, Melvin Mallard.
Yeah.
What's it been like having that added into the squad at that dynamic?
Yeah, it's nice. I think it's nice getting to know the new players. Obviously I played with Julia at Barcelona, and yeah, she's an incredible player, and I actually sat next to her in the locker room at Barcelona, and she's such a nice girl, and I think she brings a really good energy to the team, as well as, like, she's an incredible footballer, and hopefully everyone will see that this year in the league. She's very, very talented, and obviously having Katie as well, very experienced player, but I think she brings a wealth of knowledge to the team, and I think you can see that in training and her communication, the way she talks. So I think all the new players have brought something new and really interesting, and they've really added to the group, which is important, and I'm excited for the season to start.
And how important is, like, the likes of your experience when you've had big names leave, you know, big names come in, and kind of redressing the balance a little bit in the squad as everyone finds their feet? Like, how important is it for those of you that have been there, experienced that maybe, to help make that smoother, I suppose?
Yeah, I think it's like a chance to kind of set the culture and set what you want with the team and with the younger players, and to make sure that the team's heading in the right direction. But I think even for me, it's exciting getting to know those new players and what they bring. And as you said, we had a lot of big names and big players leave, but again, like, I've experienced that for a lot of the teams I've played, and it is just part of the job. Like, you could be really good friends with someone 1 minute and then go and play for a different team 2 months later. So yeah, I think it's just part of the job, and as I said, I think that the new players really have brought a lot to the team already, so I'm excited to see, you know, how the season will go with that.
Yeah, I guess when you've got people maybe scoring against you or being on the receiving end of tackles, perhaps might be nice having them on your team now.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously I've played against those players a few times at different clubs, so it's definitely nice to have them on the team, and I think we needed a little bit of that last year. I think Katie brings that competitiveness and that edge, and I think sometimes you need that in those big games, and she's definitely a character who does bring that.
By the time this pod goes out, you will have played the A-League All-Stars.
Okay.
How much do you, I guess, learn about yourselves as a team, your fitness, like the connection within the team from friendlies like this?
Yeah, I think, like, the aim isn't to be, like, hitting peak form right now. I think sometimes people forget that as well. Like, we're not trying to hit the ground running in this game. I think it's probably more important to see what we need to improve on and things that didn't go as we want. But I think it's more just building connections and trying to find those relationships with players that you haven't played with before, and how Sonia wants the team to play. And I think it's more about just finding our rhythm rather than trying to have the perfect game. But it's gonna be a difficult game. It's the best players in the league, so yeah.
We spoke to Aggie before this. She was saying how fun it's been out here. Said she not meant to do a lot in training, or is that?
That's not true.
No.
I knew she was going to say something along those lines. I'll let her have it. Yes, she not makes me. It's fine.
When was the last time you met her?
Did she tell you to ask me that?
No, but I feel like it might have been recent.
Probably. I don't know. I feel like I meg her quite a lot, but it's a thing we have. Like, She tries to meg me, I try to meg her, and whenever I've got the ball, she does her best to try and tackle me. I can hear her coming when she's playing striker. You know, like when I'm facing forward, I can hear her like running behind me to try and tackle me.
I just wanted to put it to you so you could redress what she's claiming. So thank you for that. As you touched on there, all being well for yourself and for England, you'll be at a World Cup next season. How do you kind of balance that kind of, you're obviously focused on the season, but on the horizon, there's this potential big tournament coming. How do you try and, I guess, keep yourself physically in peak form for that, but also not get too ahead of yourself? Yeah,
it is difficult. I think obviously it is something that you kind of do have to keep an eye on. Like, I'd be lying if I said that we don't. I think, like, you obviously don't want to be too tired when you hit the tournament. As you said, you want to still be in peak physical form when you get there. But I think that's, like, important that we trust the people whose job it is here to keep us in that condition. And I think mentally as well, it's to kind of stay focused. And again, it's like, when is the right time in the season to hit peak form? Obviously it doesn't want to be the first game of the season. I think it's going to be a really long year if that's the case. But I think it's kind of, just trying to spread it out through the season. Obviously, like, I work with a psychologist. That's something that helps me stay consistent, like, in my own head, and try and find the best ways to be more consistent on the field. So let's see how it goes this year.
I'm going to give you another opportunity to address another player who's called you out. Lexi Pateas.
Okay.
She said that you had to cancel dinner plans with her recently, and that you blamed the media for it. So would you like to address Alexia? Did you reschedule? Or are you going to get to catch up with her when the season starts? Is that allowed?
In all fairness to me, it was the media day. I think I finished at like 7:00, and I was never going to get from Cobham to Marylebone in 10 minutes, so there was no chance that was going to happen. But I think she's yet to text me when to reschedule. So we'll wait and see. I feel like, I'm the one who always texts her to go for dinner, so I'm going to wait for an invite from her. So that's me calling her out.
Alexia, the ball is in your court.
It is.
Right, well, thanks so much for taking time to chat to us. Enjoy the game tomorrow and the rest of your trip down under.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and good luck with the rest of the season when it starts.
You.
Well, that's it from me on this very special episode of Upfront Down Under. Make sure you tune in, because Chloe and I are back next Tuesday to talk all things pre-season and look back on what's been an amazing summer. Hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. See you soon.